It's time now for the teachings of Pastor J.E. Sturdivant of Fruit United Ministries. Tune in now as we look into the Word of God with eyes of faith. Now, here's Pastor J.E. Sturdivant.
Well, God bless you. God bless you. God bless every one of you. I am Pastor J.E. Sturdivant. You heard him say my name. And this is the day that the Lord has made. I am rejoicing. I am extremely glad in it. Listen, it's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to be, it's a better day to be alive than it is to be dead.
Absolutely.
So it's a good day to be alive. Glad to be here. Glad to be here with you on the WBGR family. Glad to be here on our YouTube family as well. God bless everyone of you. Listen, I'm a little vocally challenged, but we're glad to be here. And it's a good time to be giving God thanks, to be blessing him and giving him the honor and the glory that is due his name. And look, we got some exciting stuff going on and we want to bring it to you. And we're really hyped about some things that are about to be happening very soon. Woo. But listen, let me just start off by letting you know that in the studios here with me, I've got on the left of me, you see the props. I mean, it's like this thing has its own mic. See, there's a mic here on the table. You all can't see it, but there's a mic here on the table. And the box of dots has its own mic. And this is really amazing because the box of dots is still in its wrapper, has not been opened, but it's got a few dents. And it is possible for you to have a few dents and still be brand new. Don't give up on yourself just because you've had a few hits, a few thises, a few that's. The content is better than the container. What's in you is greater than what people see concerning you.
That's good.
So the box has had a few hits, but it has not affected the contents. I'm just saying, somebody needs to hear that today. You fix it the way you want to, because some people want to throw you away because of what they have seen concerning your container. But they don't know that there's something greater in you. The Bible even says it this way: greater is he who is within you than he that is in the world. So here we've got the box of dots. Here she is. She is StephTheBest.net.org.com. The D-O-T. Box of dots. Dots E-D-U. Greet the people, Steph, and say one or two things to them, please.
Good morning. Hey, WBGR, YouTube, what's up? It is a great day. It's another Wednesday. It's another opportunity to learn. It's another opportunity to watch and to share. Please make sure you guys share because it makes a difference. It's amazing how sometimes you can be opened and, brought to something that's different, that's new, that's educational, but you don't want to share it. And it's just like, I don't want to be the only educated one in my group.
Come on.
I don't want to be the only spiritual one in my group.
You don't want to be the sharpest knife in your drawer. You don't want to be that person.
I don't, because I'm always ready and willing to learn. So make sure you share this so everybody can be on the same page, and then we can talk about it, and we can tweet about it, and we can Facebook about it after the show.
How come none of this stuff goes viral?
It will.
People getting behind implants and that goes viral.
Everything.
None of this goes viral.
The crazy stuff goes viral because it's quote unquote entertainment. But sometimes you need more than entertainment.
You need education. Come on! We're on the same page. EDU.
You need it. So share it.
Steph came dropping the big knowledge today. The box of dots. Come on. And then on the right of me, WBGR family, YouTube family, you know who it is. One word, one name, one mic. Here she is. Jocelyn.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, y'all, WBGR family, good morning. YouTube family, good morning. We're glad to be here.
Absolutely.
It's a thing where you have to have an attitude of gratitude, even despite of what is going on around us. So we are grateful to be here. We thank you for always tuning in every week. Every week you all show support. WBGR have been giving us a lot of love. I go back and watch it, and I see the comments and the likes. So thank you all so much. As it was stated, it's good to want to receive new information and challenging yourself to be able to go beyond what you already know and receiving what you don't know and what can help you. So this is why Back to Basics is an important channel, an important broadcast, an important lesson, because we as we also are receiving and teaching, it helps us. And so we encourage you all to share this not just via YouTube, but share it if it's something that was mentioned that hit you. Talk about it and let it be a discussion that kind of helps build, because we're talking about relationships, so help build relationships. And that's the challenging thing, is having to apply what you receive. That's why a lot of people don't share, because
I think that's what it is.
You
because,
have to.
They call it a teachable moment.
Yeah.
And many people, if they've not learned, then they don't want to get involved in teachable moments.
Exactly.
I don't want no teachable moments. Don't teach me nothing. Let me stay dumb as a box of rocks.
Or let me keep on moving away. And these things, and it challenges us. And sometimes I have to catch myself, because you can respond the way you normally respond. But if you're getting this teaching every week, there's got to be some type of growth, some type of change. And maybe some of the people are not tuning in because they're not ready to elevate.
But what did we say before? Change is not change until you change.
Yeah.
Change is not change until you change. So you can't keep asking everybody else to change. And you don't change, because then there is no change. Because every time you come into a situation or conversation, it's the same old you, no matter what the new situation is.
Yeah.
And so change is not change until you change. And once you change, then anywhere you go, you're going to affect change. You're going to bring about change. I see you, Lisa Chu. Thank you so much. You're going to bring about change, because you have caused the atmosphere to shift. You've changed the narrative because of your discussion. So it starts with you. It starts with you. I find so many times people saying, well, y'all need to, and you need to. No, it starts with you. And once you do it, then people have no choice. If you consistently continue to do what you have been doing, then people have no choice but to change, because you don't keep going back to the same old thing.
Yes, that's real life. That's real talk.
You have to do it. If you keep offering me something and I don't take it, then eventually you're going to stop offering. So I have affected change by no longer accepting what you offered.
You can tell when people have not changed, or people are still kind of in the same place where they continue to bring back up how you were before.
Yes.
Okay, that was then.
Right.
But and some people can't handle your change.
Absolutely.
They can't handle you being different or moving different. So change not for nobody else. Change for yourself.
Change for yourself.
Change for yourself.
Do it for you. And once you've done it for you, then you'll realize that everybody else. But just like people say, I like you this way. Well, when you become somebody better, even if those people don't like you, there's a new group of people that are going to like you for the way that you are. I posted something many, many years ago, and I said something to the effect of, you don't have to change who you are. People will change their taste to accept your flavor.
Oh yeah.
Whatever your flavor is, people will change their taste to accept it. I didn't always like certain ice creams. The ice cream didn't change, but the more I kept on trying the ice cream, then I eventually started liking the ice cream. I changed my taste buds to accept that particular ice cream.
Especially if that was the only option.
Yeah, so you don't have to always keep on trying to become, okay, now I'm Rudy Tooty. Now butter crunch, but don't keep on that. Just stay. If you vanilla, be vanilla. There's a segment of society out there for vanilla. Didn't mean to go into that direction, but we're glad to have you all here. Because one of the things that we're trying to do in teaching this is that the foundation of our whole walk is a Christian walk. It's a Christian walk, but Christianity is the foundation of it. How you present it is based on how God made you. And he has made us in his image and in his likeness. And when you think about how great he is, how awesome he is, what a bland world it would be if everybody was exactly the same.
Yeah.
I celebrate my outgoing, my gregarious, my sanguine personality because I bring life, you know. But then I can also celebrate those who are low key, who are melancholy, who are creative in their thinking and everything, because they add the balance to what I'm doing. I love every person's and every person's personality. So once you get to celebrate the uniqueness of you, then you'll wind up finding that people will celebrate you as unique as you are as well. So we're grateful to be here again today. Another wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And you all continue to tune in. And I keep on saying this, that we have some of the people that used to be coming on when we were on Facebook have not yet picked up on now that we are on YouTube. And I don't, you know, I think that sometimes now I'm starting to see that maybe some of the people that were coming on when we were on Facebook, they were just getting us because they were passing by. You have to be intentional to go on YouTube and go on the channel. And that's a very powerful thing right there. Some people only want you because they can grab you conveniently. But everybody doesn't want you when they have to be intentional with coming to where you are, being what you are looking for. You know, when I'm looking on my what is it called, the news feed or whatever, the timeline, you know, I see all kinds of stuff just coming by. And if I decide, I can just grab that and get that. And some people will only want you as long as they can just grab you when it's convenient for them. But when it comes to, thank you so much, Wanda Briscoe, I see you, daughter, but you have to be intentional to come on this and to get this. You have to purpose. You have to set your clock for it. You have to do whatever. And that's kind of how it is, even as we've been dealing with relationships. Some people only got in the relationship with you because that's where they were at the time, and that's where you were at the time. But when it is intentional, no, call me at such and such time. No, I see my daughter, Talenthia, the TLC queen. No, call me at this time. Oh, yeah, you know what happened was, nah, I'm sorry, but, you know, because there I have to make an effort. And to make an effort, that's, you know, that's kind of why, and we kind of are getting away from that. That's why even the church on Sundays with the social media thing, people just kind of grab that because it's coming down the timeline. But if you have to be intentional to get up and go out the house, you know, take a shower hopefully, and go out of the house and go to church, then people don't want it because that's too much stuff you have to put into it. Oh, you mean I gotta brush my teeth? You mean I gotta wash under my arms?
Stay in the bed and under the covers, you know, with the crust between my eyes.
I'm tired. Who was that who did that song? All things are working for my good. Travis Green. Is that your? He's intentional. No, God is not just kind of just throwing stuff at you. God is intentional when it comes to you and I. And yet us, when it comes to everything in life, we want to kind of like just be haphazard, fly by the seat of our pants. When I was coming along, they had the saying, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. Another generation just said, well, it is what it is. You know, but none of those things are intentional. Intentional means that this is what I have purposed to do. And so consequently, when we try to say, you know, because we've been dealing with the relationship thing, some of the relationships, the friendships, the associations we have, it really wasn't like that was the person that we really intended to be with, but it was really because of, what's that word again, Steph? The situation that I was in. You know, you were not intentional, you were situational. You were situational. I was drunk, you was drunk, I was high, you was high. You know, I was drunk, you was available. I'm not going to get into no politics, sidebar. You can take that any way you want to. I was drunk, you was there, you know. So,
Right.
I'm just saying. So some things were situational. I'm just saying, you know. So we have to look at things and start being more intentional with what we are doing. And one of the things about this walk with the Lord is that it can't be just kind of a haphazard, laissez-faire, que sera, sera. It's got to be intentional. I intend to make heaven. I don't hope I make heaven. I intend to make heaven. I'm not hoping that somewhere down the line there's going to be some, okay, I got it by the skin of my teeth. No, I am intending every day that I wake up intending to make heaven. Everything that I do my best to make heaven be the purpose for why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I can't say that that's always been my concept, and I can't say that that's everybody's concept. I don't even know if everybody even thinks about their Christian walk like that. They just wake up and go through the day knowing they're saved, but they don't wake up knowing they're saved with the intention on today, I plan to make it to heaven.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother something altogether. I plan to make it to heaven today because any day he can come back. He can come back. Or any day you can get hit by a car.
Sure.
Yep.
Or any day you can have a heart attack and drop dead. Anything can happen. So you have to be intentional in your walk with God. Well, listen, if you are not, and I'm going to say this very, very quickly, if you don't have a church home, if you don't have a ministry, if you're watching us and you are enjoying what we're doing, but you don't have a place of fellowship, I want to absolutely encourage you to come to Faith United Ministries because, yes, thank you so much, Pastor Barber. I want to invite you to come to Faith United Ministries, 7905 Fernham Lane in District Heights, Maryland, because we are just doing the same teaching we're doing here. We're doing it there. We just expanded a little bit more, and we also have tremendous praise and worship, tremendous ministry that's going on, and we've got something for everybody. We are not a ministry, or some people say church is this and church is that. Well, we're not that. We are a ministry, and ministry makes reference to meeting the needs of hurting people. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 20, verse 28, Jesus said, I did not come to be served, but to serve and to give my life a ransom for many. So our concept is that I have been sent to be spent on others. Our purpose is to be spent. Paul said, I would rather spend and be spent. And that's not always a thing that people think about because most people go to church trying to see what they can get out of it. But once you understand that the mandate is that you're supposed to be giving something to it, that changes the whole dynamic. It's not about how I feel when I come. It's not about what I'm going through when I come because I am coming for the sake of giving out. And once you get that inside of you, it changes your whole perspective of why you attend the particular fellowship or ministry that you do attend. It's got to be to release something because you are a member of the body and each member plays a particular part. Now, because we are that type of ministry, I want to let you know that this coming Saturday, October the 6th, this coming Saturday, we are doing our Pinky Promise Annual Cancer Walk. We are going to be at the Woodrow Wilson Bridge and we are going to be walking. We're walking for a cure. We are not ones that have committed ourselves only to other things because we do walk with Light the Night. We do walk with the, Susan B. Coleman. We walk with all of them, but we also have our very own walk, and it is the 10 years, and this is our anniversary coming up right now. We want everyone to come and walk with us on Saturday. If you would like to be one that joins us or be a sponsor with us, you can call our church line and call 301-736-2383, 301-736-2383. I'm not giving it with the B because that's our moniker, but you can call there and ask for Elaine Jameson. Elaine Jameson. She is the one that spearheads our Life After Cancer, LAC, Life After Cancer. She was diagnosed with cancer 14 years ago, told her to set her affairs in order, go home and prepare to die. And now 14 years later, she is still here, healthy, strong, spearheading this ministry because we are a ministry of healing, deliverance, restoration, and reconciliation. And God is doing that in our midst. And so that's happening this coming Saturday, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. And then in conjunction with this Back to Basics, Eyes of Faith radio broadcast where we have been dealing with the dysfunctions of the family, relationships, and love. On the following Saturday, October the 13th, from 10 a.m. in the morning until 2 p.m. in the afternoon, we are having a Family Matters brunch. Listen, I say this all the time. I say, I know that Black love matters, Black life matters. I understand that blue lives matter, all lives matter, but we are doing Family Matters because everything starts with the core of the family. And this is actually the brainchild of Janice and she is putting this on. Say one or two things to them about this thing coming up on the 13th.
It's going to be simply amazing. One of the things that's needed in this day of time is unity amongst the family. And what we're seeing is a lot of division that's taking place, whether it's in the homes or whether it's from generations before us. So the purpose of this event, this luncheon, this time, is to bring the family together and deal with some of the matters of the family. It's so surprising how when you talk to people as far as their family, they don't know some of the things that the foundation of the family, or the genealogy of the family, or traditions of the family. So this is one of the things. It's going to be.
Some families have no traditions.
Some they don't. And it's so surprising because I was speaking with somebody and it was like tradition. And it's like, do you guys, do something as a family on a monthly or yearly basis? And they said no.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things where we're going to kind of establish some things. This is going to be the first one. I promise we're going to do this every year. But we invite you all to come out. And no child is too young.
Right.
No adult is too old, because this is for the entire household. Can you believe that with the lunch that's going to be included, the counselor, the family counselor that's going to be a part of it, we're also going to have a panel discussion with our family. And we're going to be giving away information as it relates to handouts and worksheets. And then it's going to be a family activity involved. For those that are 18 and under, it's only $20 for all those things. 18 and above, I'm sorry. 18 and above is $20 with all those things included. For those that ages 12 to 17, it's only $15. And for those 11 and under, it's $10. 20, 15, and 10. I invite you all to come out. We're going to have a special thing that we're going to do with the kids 12 and under. It's going to be an amazing time. This is going to be a memorable event that you don't want to miss, because it's all about investment. And that's what we said
really
earlier as far as intentional.
That's right.
A lot of times we can just do stuff because, okay, this was happening this week in the community. But this type of event, you have to plan to be a part of it. And it's not just you. It's the people that's connected to you as well.
And it's so reasonably priced so that you can bring everyone. It's not a high figure or anything like that, and it's right here. It's local. It's in our ministry. We didn't go to a hotel where we would have had to raise the price even more to accommodate, the hotel fee and everything like that. And we invite you all to come and be a part of that. The problem with many times is that when we come together at holidays and things of that nature, a lot of the tension that is going on in the family, the underlying thing is because we were not intentional when it came to dealing with some of the issues or some of the things of the family. Now, let me just tell you this. There are some things concerning the family that if you bring all of those things up, it's just going to start a whole bunch of, as my mom would say, who struck John? It's going to bring up a whole bunch of discord. I have people that want to talk about stuff and the person is dead. That person cannot answer anything, So you have to understand that there are some things that you can deal with and some things that you can't deal with. But what you can deal with is the effect of the things that you can't deal with. So how do we move forward as a result of that? We're not denying that, but how do we move forward? Because you can't go back and say, I just want to ask Grandpa, why? Grandpa been there for 27 years, So there are certain things that you have to know. What can you actually deal with? What can you address? And once you start dealing with certain things, the root of things, then you might start realizing, Grandpa took some issues to the grave with him as well. So let's deal with what were the issues that came up in Grandpa's life, the issues that came up in Dad's life, in our life. Then you can work through some things. But I think that some of the things that hinder us from having traditions is that we are not intentional. And you don't have to throw away your family traditions just because, there was a bad experience when they burnt the turkey, so I'm not going over there for Thanksgiving no more. No, just don't cook it too fast. They burnt down your back porch. That's because they didn't know how to fry a turkey. Yeah. You don't have to throw away going together for turkey just because they burnt down the back porch. Yeah. Just don't fry turkey anymore. So we want you all to come out and be a part of that, and let's be intentional with what we do concerning the family, in the family. So if you want to do anything concerning that, how can they get in touch with you concerning those things? Because it's not too late to sign up and to be a part of that.
It's definitely not too late. You can actually contact that number that was given before. You can contact the church and ask to speak to me, Janice Sturdivant, and I can be reached at 301-736 2383. Again, that number is 301-736-2383. The beautiful part is that our family, we're actually coming together in a couple of days to kind of do some things. So we're intentional as far as how we're going to plan it and be strategic with it. So we're putting the effort in. We ask for you all to, just come. It's the last event that Jocelyn will be doing this year, 2018, and we want to end it with a bang. So please invite everybody, even if they're just an hour drive away. I promise you it will be worth it. We're going to have a photographer there that's going to be taking some pictures. So if you and your family want to wear the same colors, or you all want to just do something like that, you already know. Co-pastor's like, oh, we all got to wear. I was like, we do? But that's the thing. We're going to be doing some things like that. So please come and be a part. I promise you it will be life-changing.
One of the things that we have discovered as we've been dealing with this whole dysfunction of the family and the relationship of the family, and we've shared over and over again that you cannot get upset with your family because of whatever its dysfunction is. I know everybody's family seems to think that they are the only ones that have something that it's not functioning as what they thought the standard would be. And I always try to figure out who told you that was the standard for your family. Sometimes we think there's a dysfunction, and you're actually functioning better than you should be doing with the craziness that was in your family. And so we have to stop looking in the yard of somebody else and trying to get this idea of what our family should be, when the truth of the matter is your family might just be the prototype or the template for what family is supposed to be. But you might be I remember when I was in Nigeria, when I first started going there 20 years ago, and I was looking and I saw the people, they were walking by the car and they were begging when I was there, and they were doing those types of things, and my heart was so heavy. This is 20 years ago, and my heart was so heavy. I said, my God, I want to do something for everyone. And I talked to my driver and I said, what can I do, And the driver said, you Americans. He said, what makes you think everybody wants to be like you? That was the number one thing. He said, number two, he says, this person you're feeling sorry for, they are doing better than anybody in their whole generational family has ever done. He says, you're feeling sorry for them and they are the best so far. I suddenly got this revelation that sometimes while you are thinking that a certain thing in your family or in your life is jacked up, you're actually doing better than you really should be doing or could be doing, based on the things that have happened in your family bloodline, based on the things that have happened in your family tree. Somebody said if you shake the tree hard enough, all the nuts will fall out. And so we want to kind of deal with some of the things of what I have discovered when we have been dealing with this Luke 15, with this prodigal son. We've been dealing with him, and I don't know, when we were talking about it, we were sharing over and over and over again, and I'm gonna hit this so that I can go back to get to some root of some things. We noticed that when this boy finally decided to come home, and I want you all to notice something. When he finally decided to go home, he was going back with this low opinion of himself. The older people used to say he was coming with his hat in his hand. That's kind of a beggar's mentality. He was saying, I'm not fit to be a son anymore. I simply want to be a servant. And yet what we found out when we were reading this text, we found out that while he was ready to be a servant and not a son, the son that was at home, his brother, had a good relationship with the servants. Interesting dynamic. Luke chapter number 15. Luke chapter number 15. Read verse number 25, please, Janice. Luke 15, verse 25 and 26. If you want to look at something, please.
Now his oldest son was in the field, and as he had came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing.
So now the oldest son is out in the field. He is working. He's working on the family business, and he all of a sudden, while he's working, he's hearing a party going on. And he's trying to figure out, what's a party going on for while I'm out here working? Why should there be any celebration? Everybody should be doing what I'm doing. This is not the time for celebration. This is the time for working. Keep reading.
So he called one of the servants.
He calls a
One of the
servant.
servants. And asked what these things meant.
He asked a servant. Now he is the son. He is an heir to the father's inheritance. He should be the one that knows what's going on more than someone outside of the house. Yet he, who is a part of the house, has to get information about his house from someone outside the house. It's a dangerous thing in the family dynamic when people outside of your home know more about what's going on in your home than you do. Man, I just now said something right there, and it's going to resonate in you in a lot of areas, because now you're going to start seeing how many people talk more easily about in-house issues to outside folk. Did you all get that? Many people talk about inside issues to outside folk.
Yeah.
And the dangerous thing about that is that the ones who are outside don't know all of the dynamics of the inside, so they're giving an outside perspective on limited information. Limited information. I want you to watch the tension of this. Please read again, Janice.
And he said to him, your brother has come.
Your brother has come. Now here is someone outside the house. Servants don't live in the house. Here is a servant telling a brother about his brother.
Right.
How come you don't know what's happening with your brother? Why is there someone outside of the house who is giving you information? Now you can imagine the emotions and the tension that's going on here now. The son, well, wait a minute, my brother, he's been gone. We ain't heard nothing from him in a while. My brother, what is my father doing? That my brother has come back and he is not sent for me. He didn't come and talk with me. He didn't tell me he was on his way back. There's so many tensions and dynamics that are going on here. This brother is out in the field instead of being in the house. So now he's got to get information concerning the house from someone who is staying closer to the house than he is. Son, why are you not as close to the house as the servant is? See, there are too many questions that are being asked here. Please go on.
And because he has received safe and sound, he was received safe and sound, your father, has killed the fatted calf.
Because your brother has come back, and there's no more issues. He's safe and sound. We haven't heard from him in a while. We didn't know whether he was alive or dead. But because he has been received safe and sound, your father throwing a party. Everybody is excited about him. Wait, whoa.
Right.
How is everybody excited?
And I don't even know.
And I'm not in there. See, there's a lot of tension that is going on here. It's underlying things. You have to not just read the words of the book or any book when you're reading. You have to read it with the emotions that go along with it. And each person that reads it from their own perspective with their own dynamics involved. I just want to open it up a little bit. Please read some more.
But he was angry and would not go in.
I'm not going in. If they didn't care enough to tell me, I'm not going in. I should have gotten a special invitation to come in. I should have been made aware of what was happening with my brother. What's up with my father? That he is not saying anything to me while I'm right here. See, now you've got the dynamics that sometimes children feel that the parents don't even know about. Now you've got the dynamic of what parents may be doing, just being glad because something that they birthed has come in, but some of the other ones that have been birthed can't understand because they have not had to birth it. See, there's so many dynamics that go on within the family unit that a person who is not a parent can't understand what is apparent to a parent. They see it from where I'm not getting the same treatment that someone else is getting, whereas they don't understand that the parent is looking at it from the perspective of, here is something that I have birthed that I thought was going to be dead, but is not dead. So there are so many tenuous things that take place within a family dynamic that cannot be understood until an individual is in that very same position. So now the son is only looking from a sibling perspective, but he cannot understand from a parent perspective. So he'll think the parent is being unfair because he can only understand from a sibling perspective. Keep reading, please.
Therefore his father came out and pleaded with him.
Therefore, the father now comes out. He says, well, now let me come out because since you're not coming in, let me come out to you. But by this time, the son is already in his feelings like Drake. He's in his feelings over a sibling issue, which is really not a sibling issue. It is an issue that he has with his father because of how his father has responded to his brother. It is a dynamic that many don't ever even think about. The tightrope that has to be walked when parents have to love all the children the same but different. Because each child needs a different kind of love than the next child. Every child does not need the same type of love. I remember when I was growing up that my mother would give so much attention to my siblings who were in trouble, who were getting into trouble, who were getting pregnant, who were, involved in different things like that. And I didn't get certain attentions. And later on in life, I would ask her, she says, well, you didn't need me. And it was because I was not always in trouble. So my mother equated love with need. And many people equate love with need. If someone is not pulling at you all of the time, then you'll think that they don't love you because they're not needy. And so you don't give any attention there because that's not the one that's pulling at you. I just didn't think that it really mattered to you are some of the responses that you'll wind up getting. I know I'm making you all think. I'm hitting you right now in some areas because it's now making you have to broaden how you have thought about certain things, how you may have to change your opinion about your parents. You may have to change your opinion about your siblings because the truth of the matter is it wasn't about your parents. It wasn't about your siblings. It's that you were looking at it from a perspective and had not considered the full parameters of what was going on in the scenario. Here was a son that did not need as much because he was always at home. So there was no need for the father to worry. He knew when he went to bed where his son was. He knew when he woke up in the morning where his son was. He knew in the middle of the day where his son was. But this other one had wilded out and had no idea where this one was or what was going on. Keep reading, please.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
One of the things that I think can kind of prevent some of the tension that is brought into relationships or the family is if we can find a way to communicate first before we allow our emotions to take over.
That's one of the things I was going to hit on today is communication is the key. Go ahead.
Yeah, so even thinking about the brother, had he even just talked to his father first, he wouldn't have been so angry or wouldn't have been jealous. If he would have just communicated with his father like what's going on, then he would have understood and he wouldn't have felt what he felt. But anyway, reading forward.
Because communication, that is the fact, and everything I teach it there are only only two things that tear up any relationship, whether it's marriage or anything like that, and that's communication and finances. And you can get over either one of those if you just communicate. You can get over communication by communicating. You can get over financial issues by communicating. If you don't communicate, that's the one thing that separates us from the animals, is that we can talk. And if we do not use the basic thing that separates us from everything else, which is communication, then we will wind up being nothing more than moving around angry as animals, angry as brute beasts, because we did not communicate. We don't talk enough. And that's what I said. I wanted to start with this because we're going to get back and see why did Cain kill his brother Abel. We're going to show that it was all a matter of miscommunication. Everything's communication. Go ahead, please.
So he answered and said to his father, Lo, these many years I have been serving you. I never transgressed your commandments at any time, and yet you never gave me a young goat.
Do you see this? Do you see right now that there is the dynamic of sibling rivalry? He says, I have been with you all of these years, and yet you have never. He is now trying to use his own measuring stick for why the father should have treated him differently. I never did this. I have been here with you. I have. And everyone looks good in their own eyes. He is now thinking that he should have gotten more attention, more shine, more notoriety because he did not get in as much trouble. Every person is not the same. Love has to be the same. Love you if you get straight A's. Love you if you flunk out of school. The person that gets straight A's should not get more love just because the person that flunked out of school. It's the same love. And people are equating what rewards they should get with the level of love they should get. And if you're not careful, you'll start paying more attention to the one that is easier than you do with the one that is difficult. And that doesn't have to be in personality. You can do very subtle things, like if one has difficult hair to comb, and you make all these noises when you're combing this child's hair, and then the other one you make no sound. You just go singing songs. See, those are very subtle things that come off that show that you play favorites with one or the other. You've got to be equal across the board. And it doesn't mean that everybody gets the same thing, because everybody doesn't want the same thing. Janice shared a few weeks ago. A toy that you get, that might have been a toy that would have been okay for one of the other children, but that's not the toy that she requested. Everybody does not want the same thing. Everybody does not want the same of everything. So you can't just say, I got 4 kids, here's 4 toys, boom, 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 boom. Well, you got 2 sons and 2 daughters. The sons don't want the doll babies and the daughters don't want the trucks. So you can't give everybody the same thing, but you can give equal in everything that you are doing. What I've purposed now with my children is that I don't buy them nothing. I just give the same amount of cash. Everybody can't argue. All y'all got the same amount of cash. I may break it down in different denominations to show variety, but you got the same amount of cash, because I can't play all of those games. So his struggle right now is that he is thinking that something is being more done for one who, while he was away, and here's a dynamic, Steph, I want you to say something in a second. While this other son is away, he ain't getting nothing, but the other son, the oldest son, he's getting all of the stuff in the house. He ain't paying no bills. He ain't paying no nothing. And the other son has lost everything he has had. He coming back home broke, busted, and disgusted, stinking and everything like that. And this son ain't had to spend no money. And he doing good. And yet he is still comparing himself to his vagabond brother. And he's living like a prince. And yet, with all of the money and everything he has, he still doesn't see his value because he's still comparing himself to his brother who don't have a dime, don't have a, as they say, a pot to urinate in or a window to throw it out. Yet he doesn't know his own worth. So he's comparing himself to somebody that doesn't have nothing. And that's amazing to me right there. I just got that one. That's amazing.
Especially because they both started off with the same thing.
They both have the same thing. And he didn't have to use none of his. And the other son wasted his. Go ahead. You want to say something, Steph, before I go on?
It's so much I could say. Just because being the one that was kind of like the prodigal child that stayed in.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I got both sides of it. And you can kind of almost compare yourself to the good child as the bad child.
Right.
Because they're getting this, but then sometimes the parent gives more to the bad child.
Yeah.
Because they are being bad or disobedient or just wilding out or whatever the case may be. It's so many words you can use. And it's always a limbo. And I can only imagine being a parent with having one child this way and one this way, because it's like, if I give this one the attention, they're already doing good, so this one might lack even more.
Right.
But then if I give this one the attention, the one that's doing good can start to lack because this is the one that I'm feeding into. So it's hard. And I can't imagine just because I was a child.
Trust me when I tell you, it is not easy. It is not easy, you know. And then trying to make it be some kind of an equity where everybody is a hard thing to do when at the bottom line of it, the oldest son was selfish and the younger son was selfish. Both of them were selfish, but no one ever sees what they're doing as selfish, but everything is selfish because it all starts with what you think is best for self. It's always about self, because you don't know how to, feel for someone else. And even when you're feeling for someone else, you're feeling for them outside of yourself. So please read some more of that. I hope I'm opening this up. All right, I see you, my daughter Gwen. Yeah, she says it's not easy at all. See, that's a parent that's talking right there. It's not easy. It is not easy. Come on.
But as soon as this son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood.
Now notice what he said. He says, as soon as this
son of yours.
Why didn't he say as soon as my brother?
Right.
Why didn't he say as soon as my brother comes home? See, the words that we use show how we have disassociated ourselves from family members. And parents do that, and they'll be subtle with it, I know many times, many times, I would be at the church, and when the kids were acting a certain way, or if the brothers were fighting, my sons were fighting, my wife would call me and say, come and get your sons. Come and get your children. No, because they're fighting, they're mine. Or if they get good grades, then it's like, my child is so sad. And we say that jokingly, but there is a disconnect. There's a disassociation with that one's your daughter and this one's my daughter. That one's your son and this one's my son. That's I like this parent more than that parent. I am a daddy's girl. I am a mama's boy. All of those things, words have power. Remember, death and life is in the power of your tongue. And so we inadvertently do disassociation, bringing about dysfunction by the words that we speak. The things that we say, that's why I say, whenever I'm talking about my book, Daily Confessions for Impacting Your World, I say you are either creating or cremating your world by your words. You have got to stop saying certain things. They're not step children. They are not in-laws. Make them in-loves. I even stopped saying, people say, I'm a preacher's kid. My father in the Lord gave me the revelation on this a couple of years ago. He says a kid is a baby goat. A goat always butts and is stubborn. The Bible says that the sheep will be on the right and the goats will be on the left. The sheep are the accepted ones. The goats are the rejected ones. So if you are a preacher's kid, why not be a lamb of God or a preacher's child as opposed to a kid which butts and is going to be ostracized? But we say words so flippantly and don't think about the implications behind them. And then we try to figure out, why is my kid butting? Because that's what kids do. That's what goats do. But goats butt, So Just showing you the power of your words, the things that you say. You know, and we just say things and don't even think about it. He says, this son of yours, please.
This son of yours who has devoured your livelihood with
Devoured
harlots.
your livelihood with harlots. And he, you know, that's a very subtle thing, because why are you tripping, son, if he devoured my livelihoods? Why are you upset? See, now the son is trying to transfer his emotions onto the father.
Right.
To make the father feel towards the child the way that he feels towards his brother. He has already disassociated himself from his brother, so he wants the parent to disassociate himself from his seed.
And we do that. We say, well,
Yes.
if I don't like them, you shouldn't like them either.
Absolutely.
But they didn't do anything to me, so why should I share the same feelings?
I'll never forget some years ago when, and I've shared it openly, that I came from an abusive background. They would have called incest and sexual promiscuity and abuse and everything in my family. And I'll never forget when my mother, after it happened so much and came down from my oldest siblings all the way down to me, that my mother one day just packed up everything and just left. My father went to work one day, and my mother packed up all of us and left. And he came back home and we weren't there. And she had gotten another house and gotten us in there and everything like that. I was 8 years old. She had gotten all of us in there and everything like that. And she had done all of that to keep the abuse away from us that she had endured and that the other ones had endured and all of those things. And one of the things that I remember is that when my father, later on in life, I was married and I had children, and I was taking care of my father. But what made me do that is that earlier on, my mother had told me when I started becoming a teenager, she said, I want you to go and visit your father. And I was taking the mindset of none of my other siblings were visiting my father, and none of them were going over to see him. And my mother said, I want you to go and visit your father. And so I and my younger brother would go and visit my father. And I was asking her, I said, Mom, after everything that was done, you know, to you and all of that kind of stuff, why would you want me to go and visit him? And she says, if I can say, go visit him, and it was done to me, how can you say anything at all? Suddenly I got the revelation. If she could endure all of that and still say, he's somebody that you should visit, you should be in connection with, then you have no excuse whatsoever. So that kind of helps me even now at 60 years old, at how I view things. You know, everybody has their opinion about everything, but the truth of the matter is, just like my mom said, if it was done to an individual and they survived it, how can you be tripping? That's because you want to transfer your feelings onto someone else to make them feel what you feel. And that's what the son was trying to do with his parent. Dislike your child because I'm mad at my sibling. Dislike your seed because I'm mad at my sibling. Hate the one that you gave birth to because I'm mad at them. Please read on.
And he said to him, Son, you are always with me,
You're always here.
and all that I have is yours.
You don't ever have to talk about why didn't I throw you a party? Why didn't I kill a goat for you? You could have had a party every single night that you've been here at no cost. Go ahead.
It was right that we should make merry and be glad.
It's the right thing to do, that we should celebrate. We, he says that we
should make merry and be
we,
glad.
not I, that we. I want all of the servants. Why? Because here is one that is an heir apparent, just like you. That is no longer dead. We all should be celebrating. Go ahead.
For your brother was dead.
Your brother. He says your son. The brother says your son, but the father doesn't say my son. He says your brother. He doesn't disown the son. He is now saying, I want to put this family back together in one conversation. He says, your brother. You wanted to disown him and say he's my son, but don't forget, he's your brother. Your brother. And that's what you all have got to get. No matter how crazy your family member may be, they may be on drugs, they may be strung out, they may not have the ability to hold down a job, hold down an apartment, they may not have the ability to keep one foot in front of the other, they may keep messing up every single week. But if you all came from the same bloodline, that's still your sister, that's still your brother, you all are still relatives. And changing how you term them or what you call them does not change that the blood is still running through you all's veins. Go ahead.
For your brother was dead.
He was dead.
And is alive again.
He's alive now.
And was lost.
Yep.
And is found.
That's an amazing thing. He says, and the whole thing is that Jesus is telling this story. It's really just a story. He's telling a story of a situation because he's trying to show what it's like in Christianity. He is trying to show that there are some who always are in church, as it were, always doing the right thing, always got it right. And then there's somebody who's coming in and they've been on drugs, they've been on crack cocaine, they've wilded out, they've got 7 children, you know, by 5 different mothers. They've got different things going on, but when they come in, there should still be a party. You ought to still have the same celebration for the one that's coming in as you do for the one that's your head elder, as you do for the one that's your top teacher or top preacher. You cannot give up on one or celebrate one who stayed so that you don't even celebrate the one who's coming back.
That's subliminally judging them as if, okay, well, they've done this time after time. Every Sunday they come to the altar.
Yeah.
Every week they fall down. But even the Bible says you fall down
7 times and get back up the 8th time. It's not about how many times you fall. It's do you have enough in you to get back up again? And that dynamic of family communication that we saw right here, it goes back, and I don't have time to do it because I've run out of time, but I'm going to come back the next time because the truth of the matter is when in Genesis chapter number 4, Genesis 4, the whole issue with Cain and Abel was that Abel went out into the field to talk with his brother. And when he went to go and talk with his brother rose up and killed him. It's the communication factor that is missing in the family that is bringing about the dysfunction. And if we can communicate, if we can talk with one another, we can get over so many issues. We didn't get a chance to get into this. Next week when we come, we're going to do maybe a few minutes on our talking and advertising and spend more minutes with talking with this because that's going to be the week leading right up to the conference. And we want to open this thing up just a little bit more. I have not run out of word. I've simply run out of time. But I am Pastor J.E. Sturdivant. And who are you again?
Steph Best.
That's who she is. And you are
Janice.
And there are some people that are on the air because they can afford to be on the air. There are others that are on the air because they like the way they sound on the air. But we're on the air because what? We got something to say. Say we got something to say. Say we got something to say. God bless you. Thank you, WBGR
Appreciate
family.
y'all.
Thank you, YouTube
Share this,
family.
YouTube.
Please share this. Somebody needs this. You need to share it.
Post it on your
Put it on your page because
Yeah.
somebody needs this. Thank you, Coy the comedian. Thank you, Mr. Lionel Green. I appreciate the WBGR family. You all rock. God bless you. We're out of here.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. See y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pastor
Thank you. Thank
Marcus
you. Thank you.
Barbara.
Pastor Barbara, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. 3 o'clock, we'll be back on again. We'll be back on again.
Lisa, Chu, love you too.
Lisa, yes, thank you. Love y'all. Yeah, we love y'all too.
All right, that's a wrap.
Thank you, Gwen. Thank you. Thank you.
You are
Yeah.
someone's answer.
I believe I am. I believe I am someone's answer. Thank you, Gwen. I believe that because somebody's got questions. Somebody's got questions. We're just trying to be somebody's answer. Thank you
Amen.
so much.